Back at the casino, Will finds himself at a poker table opposite a wealthy man, his watch indicating a staggering 6,000 years. The game intensifies as they chat and eventually bet 200 years. In a climactic twist, Will, with only 30 seconds left, boldly goes all in. Miraculously, aligning with the film's narrative, he wins a remarkable 1,000 years. Following the game, the affluent man introduces Will to his daughter, Sylvia. Captivated by Will, Sylvia invites him to a party the next night. Imagine a world where aging halts at 25 and a mysterious clock in your arm starts ticking down from 1 year. In this world, time is the ultimate currency, earned and spent like money. In the midst of this is Will Salas, a 28-year-old portrayed by Justin Timberlake. Although older, he appears younger than his mother, who looks deceivingly youthful despite turning 50 that day. This narrative sets the stage for a gripping story where time is both a gift and a curse, and every second holds the weight of life itself. Will resides in an impoverished area, awakening daily with fewer hours on his time clock than there are in a day. He toils in a factory, laboring for precious hours as the cost of living relentlessly rises. In this unique world, traditional money is obsolete, and time is the sole currency. Once individuals reach 25, a clock activates on their arm, enabling them to transfer time through physical contact, making arm-to-arm interactions the mode of payment and earning. This system raises intriguing questions such as the fate of those without arms or whether animals are subject to this time-based economy. Despite these uncertainties, Will, after his factory shift, frequents a bar, continuing his life within this time-regulated world. At the bar, Will encounters his friend Boral, a habitual drunkard whose presence is less significant to the unfolding events. The focus shifts to a wealthy, inebriated man at the bar, his watch displaying a staggering century of time. Will warns him of the imminent danger his wealth of time attracts, but the man, clouded by alcohol, remains. Suddenly, gangsters storm in, clearing the bar but leaving the rich man, their eyes set on his vast time reserves. A confrontation looms reminiscent of a bizarre form of arm wrestling, a battle for the precious commodity of time. Amidst this tension, the affluent man, heavily intoxicated, stumbles to the restroom, oblivious to the perilous situation escalating around him. Amid the chaos at the bar, Will intervenes to rescue and conceal the endangered man, later identified as Henry Hamilton. Hamilton, who has lived for an astonishing 105 years, expresses a wariness with life and a desire to end it, which led him to seek oblivion in a dangerous neighborhood's bar. He reveals a disturbing truth: the escalating taxes and cost of living are designed to perpetuate the immortality of the wealthy at the expense of the poor, essentially ensuring that not everyone can live forever. In a poignant turn of events, while Will sleeps, Hamilton, grappling with the burden of his extended life, bestows upon Will a life-altering gift of 106 years. After transferring the time to Will, Hamilton leaves a note cautioning, "Don't waste my time." He then proceeds to a bridge where, as his allotted time runs out, he ends his life. In the aftermath of Henry's suicide, Will visits his friend Boral, who struggles with alcoholism. In a misguided act, Will grants Boral 10 years of time, which Boral promptly uses to indulge in his drinking habits at the bar. That same evening, Will's mother finishes work and attempts to take a bus to meet Will, only to find the fare now costs 2 hours, more than she can afford. Faced with no other choice, she starts a desperate race against time on foot. Realizing his mother is not on the bus, Will, in a frantic state of concern, begins running to meet her, hoping to bridge the distance in time. In a devastating twist, just as Will and his mother are about to embrace, she perishes in his arms, a victim of time's unforgiving nature. Concurrently, the story introduces Raymond Leon, the leader of the Timekeepers, who serve as the law enforcement in this time-regulated reality. The Timekeepers find Henry Hamilton's body and are determined to trace the missing century of time he possessed, as maintaining the balance of time is their primary duty. In the wake of his mother's death, a grief-stricken Will decides to leave his impoverished zone for New Greenwich, a lavish residential area on the city's periphery, home to the affluent and time-wealthy. Seeking revenge, Will travels through various time zones, paying exorbitant tolls, a luxury unaffordable to most city dwellers. Upon arriving in New Greenwich, he witnesses the serene life of the rich who live without the urgency that plagues the poor. Will checks into an expensive hotel and dons a suit, embracing the lifestyle of the wealthy with sleep, fine dining, champagne, socializing, and plans to visit a casino. Back at the casino, Will finds himself at a poker table opposite a wealthy man, his watch indicating a staggering 6,000 years. The game intensifies as they chat and eventually bet 200 years. In a climactic twist, Will, with only 30 seconds left, boldly goes all in. Miraculously, aligning with the film's narrative, he wins a remarkable 1,000 years. Following the game, the affluent man introduces Will to his daughter, Sylvia. Captivated by Will, Sylvia invites him to a party the next night. Will, embracing his newfound wealth, purchases an extravagantly priced car and attends the party where he and Sylvia engage in conversation and dance. Sylvia, perceptive and insightful, deduces Will's humble origins from his instinctive behaviors, particularly his propensity to run, a trait not seen in the time-rich. Sylvia expresses her concern to Will that her abundant time makes her overly cautious, preventing her from ever taking risks or acting spontaneously. In response, Will, seeking to inject some excitement into her sheltered life, takes her to the beach and together, they venture into the sea, an act of carefree abandon in stark contrast to her usual restrained existence. Their moment of freedom, however, is short-lived. The police soon arrive and confront Will, questioning his presence in this affluent zone. Will explains that he received 100 years from Henry Hamilton and won the rest at a gamble. However, the police are skeptical of this story and, doubting its legitimacy, proceed to confiscate most of his time, leaving him with a mere 2 hours. In a desperate bid for freedom, Will then impulsively kidnaps Sylvia, the wealthy man's daughter, and makes a daring escape. The police give chase, but Will, utilizing his street-smart skills and quick thinking, manages to lose them, showcasing his adaptability and resourcefulness even in the most high-pressure situations. In a thrilling escape, Will drives with remarkable skill and precision, reminiscent of a seasoned action hero, which is notably surprising given his background of poverty and lack of experience with cars. This unexpected display of driving prowess adds an element of surprise and excitement to the narrative. Upon their return to Will's home neighborhood, the sequence is visually dramatic, with special effects that somewhat comically make their car resemble a toy during the crash. This unexpected turn of events is abruptly interrupted by the arrival of mafia members who seize the opportunity to steal Sylvia's accumulated time. However, their haste is cut short by a sudden distraction, forcing them to flee the scene. Left in a dire situation, with only 35 minutes each on their time clocks, Will and Sylvia urgently seek help. They turn to Will's friend Boral, only to discover from his wife that Boral has tragically passed away, having succumbed to his alcoholism despite having 9 years left on his time clock. In a desperate bid to buy more time, Will and Sylvia resort to selling some earrings, a symbolic act that underscores the harsh realities of their time-driven world. This act of selling personal belongings for time further emphasizes the extreme measures people must take to survive in this unforgiving society where time is the ultimate currency. 2 days following, Will contacts Mr. Weiss, insisting on a ransom of 1,000 years for the safe return of his daughter. He also has a conversation with Leon regarding the demise of his own father, though the specifics of his father's death remain unelaborated in the narrative. Subsequently, Will and Sylvia visit his home, where Sylvia inquires about Will's family. Will shares that his mother's time had run out, and he describes his father as a skilled fighter. He recounts his father's strategy in battles. He would bide his time until the very last moment, seizing the opportunity to win when his adversary got distracted checking their own time. The next day, Will and Sylvia await the rescue time from her father, but it never arrives. Will suggests Sylvia call the police for her pickup, believing their plan has failed, and hands her a gun for protection. As she talks to her father on the phone, timekeeper Leon confronts them. In a tense moment, Sylvia shoots Leon, and they escape in his car, although Leon survives and is later picked up by a colleague. Will and Sylvia, now fugitives, hijack a cab, steal some time, and spend the night evading the police. They plan to rob a time lending facility, owned by Sylvia's father, a banker who lends time at high interest rates. They break into the facility, finding no police presence and an open vault, successfully stealing a large amount of time and distributing it among the poor. Their spree includes 6 robberies in 5 days, as seen on TV. Meanwhile, gangsters in the ghetto, incentivized by a police reward, hunt for Will. The couple hides in a hotel but are discovered and pursued. In a confrontation at the hotel, Will uses his father's fighting technique to overcome his adversaries. However, their efforts seem futile as the rich increase loan interests and living costs, countering their actions. To enact significant change, they decide to steal 1 million years from Mr. Weiss in New Greenwich. Will, disguised as a bodyguard, infiltrates Weiss's security, and they successfully steal a pen drive containing 1 million years. Before leaving, Weiss remarks that immortality for a few means death for many. The police panic over the theft and chase Will, who breaks through a weak barricade and reaches the ghetto, where they distribute the stolen time. As the timekeeper continues to pursue them, he runs out of time and dies. Will and Sylvia, realizing they're almost out of time themselves, rush to a car where a cop had left some time. In a dramatic finish, they survive, at least for another day, amidst the chaos and redistribution of time in the ghetto. As the events unfold, residents from the impoverished areas start moving towards the wealthier zones, facing uncertainty about their future livelihoods. Meanwhile, Will and Sylvia, still on the run and now with a substantial 100-year bounty on their heads, escalate their activities to robbing larger banks. The scale of their heists raises questions about the bank's security measures. Are the vaults left open, or is there a lack of effective security, leading to potential arrests like in real-world scenarios? This brings us to the end of the summary of In Time. Feel free to suggest any other series or movies you'd like summarized in future videos. See you next time, and don't forget to head back to work. Goodbye.
Please support us so we can produce with better tools and with more high-quality movie recap. With click like and subscribe. Leave also a comment so we can improve in the future.